It always seems pretty crazy how some of the more experienced players are able to reach maps in day 1. Back when I was a newer player, I would always be shocked when some of my guildmates had made it to maps while I was barely reaching Act 5. It wasn't until I changed my mindset to leveling that I started to see myself in that group of players, reaping the benefits of reaching maps that early. In this guide, I want to give you my best tips and tricks so you can also reach maps in a very short period of time and get all the rewards that come with it. The whole idea behind reaching maps as quickly as possible is that you'll be taking advantage of the increased rewards that come along with it to make as much bank as possible, setting you up for an amazing league. This means that for us, in a sense, the campaign is just a huge tutorial, with maps being where stuff really starts to happen. As I am a solo player, we'll be completely ignoring any group up strategies, although I will note that having an efficient team will take you through the campaign faster, no questions. At the same time, getting that level of coordination takes time and practice that will be a lot harder to do in a team rather than solo. With that out of the way, let's begin. There are two things you need to do before you even start playing the game to really jumpstart your progression on a higher level. The first one of these is getting a properly updated loot filter. This will hide any useless items from your screen. Picking up too many items is a huge time sink that in general is never worth the extra time it adds during the campaign. I can highly recommend using NeverSync's loot filter. You can download it from filterblade.xyz by clicking on download, then option 2 download file, then downloading all strictness levels as a zip. All that's left to do is to unzip them in your Path of Exile game folder. You can find this by going to Documents, My Games, and Path of Exile. You can start with regular strictness, but I'd highly recommend upgrading to semi-strict at the very least by the end of Act 1. The second thing you absolutely need is a strong league starter. If you're in the Delirium League, I've put together a video outlining my top choices for a strong league start. If you want to check that out, just click on the card on the upper right hand corner. Having a strong league starter will mean that you'll be able to move quickly without hitting damage walls during the campaign. Builds that require heavier early investment will typically struggle with maintaining a quick pace when the campaign's difficulty starts to ramp up. This will most likely make you want to take more breaks or spend more time looking for upgrades, drastically slowing down your progression. Getting a strong league starter is extremely important to be able to stick with the momentum you'll be generating as you advance through the acts. I would also highly recommend having the skill tree you'll be following open in the background or on another monitor, so you never really have to waste time trying to figure out what to do with your skill points. With those two things out of the way, let's talk about some general tips you should keep in mind while playing. For most of the campaign, you really don't want to be fully clearing any area. Just kill most of what's on the path. Later on, once you start getting more damage, you'll be able to clear packs a lot faster. This is particularly helpful early on so you don't waste too much time during the first couple acts when your, let's say, monster killing efficiency is very low. Two optional side quests you really want to do to get Quicksilver Flasks are the Mercy Mission, so the Tidal Island quest where you kill Heralric, and the Great White Beast, a quest given by Yina in Act 2 where you need to kill a big white bear located in the first area to the right of town. In that map known as the Old Fields, you'll need to find a sub-area called the Den, where this big bear is waiting for you. You want to be running 2 Quicksilvers for maximum movement speed efficiency. A huge time sink is staying in town for too long, so make sure you're spending 99% of your time progressing through the story and not in town. This part plays in very strongly with having a proper loot filter, as a big reason why many players go to town way too frequently is a full inventory of items. Having a proper loot filter will limit item pickups to only the truly worthy stuff, reducing the need to go back to town to vendor a full inventory. However, at the same time, when you know you're heading back to town, let's say after a boss or a big quest is done, try to fill up your inventory to quickly vendor everything once you load into town. Try to avoid the desire to trade for better items early on. Trading will only slow you down and tempt you to spend too much time looking at items on the trade site. Your League starter should be able to get you through the campaign with 0 training and only self-found items. Don't forget to get all the Trials of Ascendancy and to do the Labyrinth when you're at the appropriate level. You'll be getting a much needed boost to either damage, movement speed, utility, or survivability that will help keep up the momentum you've been carrying. You want to avoid doing any master missions throughout leveling. The only slight exception to this is if you find Einhar at the beginning of the zone. Just talk to him so he'll start following you, but ignore the mission. You'll receive some nice buffs when he's with you. Other than that, avoid betrayal and incursion stuff completely during the campaign, and get the Nico Soul fight if it isn't too far out of the way. Generally speaking, the new League mechanic, in this particular case it will be Delirium, isn't worth doing. While you have a good chance of dropping really nice uniques in low level areas, the time spent doing it is better used in campaign progression, as the League mechanic will undoubtedly be much more valuable in maps. You won't have too much damage or clear speed early on, so doing the League mechanic will slow you down considerably. If, however, you find that you absolutely love the League mechanic, and don't mind adding an extra, let's say 2 to 3 hours to your time, then by all means go for it. While I want to maximize efficiency, I never want to make it a chore to do this. Enjoying what you do is quite important. In Delirium in particular, I have a feeling that once you have the semblances of a build up and running, you'll be able to trigger the League mechanic on most zones and not lose too much time, since it is a clear speed based mechanic. If you're watching this after the Delirium League, then just ignore what I just stated. Only farm the Blood Aqueducts in Act 9 if you absolutely love farming BA. 99% of the time, you'll make more currency mapping and just be able to outright buy a tabula rasa. An exception to this is if you're playing hardcore, as you will need the levels and gear upgrades you get from BA to be able to smoothly transition into maps. Congratulations! You should be in maps enjoying the reward that being in maps this early brings. At this point, I'd highly recommend making a couple buyout tabs for some intervals between 3 and let's say 20 chaos, chucking in anywhere that look decent in there. As the majority of players reach maps, you'll be waiting with all the upgrades they'll need. You'll also want to sell any excess maps in bulk, as maps can go for a nice premium in the first week of a new league. Take advantage of master missions to generate Alva temples, go delving, or get free Xana maps. With that, I think I'll be bringing this video to a close. I hope you'll be able to get to maps considerably faster using these tips, and if you have any questions, just drop them down in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to help out any way I can. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, and here's a toast to great league starts.